Alright, so we're almost at the Ramtail as far as we know it. We read a book by Tom D'Agostino. He came here to do an investigation, and he mentioned going across an old beaver dam. And this was in 2006. 14 years later, it's still here, and we're excited. We're almost here. We're here. Goblin Paranormal is really excited to be at the Ramtail Factory. This is in Forster, Rhode Island. It was founded by William Porter, 1799. And this was a place for local farmers to come take their wool, clean it, and turn it into cloth. The Ramtail Factory started doing really well. So, Mr. Potter bought more land to the south, and when he did that, he adopted his son-in-law as another partner in crime. His name was Peleg Walker, and they dedicated this place to spinning and weaving cloth. And this became established as the Forster Woolen Factory. You can imagine this place bustling with workers and weaves, things going back and forth, yarn everywhere. That bridge that we crossed, or that beaver dam that we crossed right in the beginning you saw, would have been with wagons going over it, with full of deliveries. So what an amazing factory this must have been in these woods. I'm telling you, it's in the middle of nowhere pretty much. Mr. Walker and Mr. Potter got in a dispute. People think it may have been about money. No one knows for sure. But the thing that started to mark this place, beginning of this haunting, was that Mr. Walker said to Mr. Potter in the dispute, "You're going to have to take out the keys to the factory out of a dead man's pocket." Mr. Potter dealt with the fares during the day, and Mr. Walker was the nightsman. He'd go from building to building with his lantern, making sure things were just going as accordingly to the plan. Now, he started feeling very resentful towards the Potter family. And May 19th of 1822, the bell ceased to ring in the morning. He rang a bell every morning to gesture the workers into the factory. One morning, that stopped. Mr. Potter was bewildered and wondered what happened. The factory was locked, and they came into a gruesome sight to see Mr. Peleg Walker hanging from the bell's rope. A few nights after his suicide, people were woken in the middle of the night to hear the bell still ringing. Mr. Potter came to the factory to see that there was no one in the structure to ring the bell. That happened for a few nights, and finally enough was enough. They cut down the rope. That didn't stop Mr. Peleg Walker from having his nightly concert. It was still heard nights after that, so they said finally enough's enough. They took down the bell totally. One night, they found the factory running at full tilt. All the weaves, all the machines were moving by themselves. The factory was just going. And the craziest thing about it is that the wheel to the Ponegantset River was moving against the stream. That was enough for people working at the factory. People started quitting left and right in fear for their lives, that they were working on cursed grounds. The factory started losing business. All their workers were starting to leave. Eventually the factory went under. It was rumored to say that a few men walked along the mill one night and saw a specter, ghostly apparition walking through the mill buildings with a lantern in his hand like he would always do. And that didn't stop there. People over the years started coming here, and right around the fall of the sun, people could hear walking footsteps and a person with a lantern, a creaky lantern, walking along the buildings like Mr. Walker would do back when he was alive. Let's take you through all the foundations now. If I had to take a guess, this would probably be the main building where a lot of the machines were, just because of the size of it. There's two other buildings we're going to show you too. It's amazing how they built this foundation. Can't imagine us doing this in 2020. The amount of manpower it would take to do all this by hand. Alright, let's take you up to the other two foundations. And because it burnt down, a lot of the metal pieces, I'm assuming too, the machinery is still on the ground. We stumbled across this, what appears to be an old tombstone, H-A-R, and it was just laying here. I'm assuming someone probably found it in the ground and put it here, which is really interesting. And the other thing about this place is I'm not sure, looks like there's been partying going on here, but there's definitely some old pieces here, like these bottles. And could this be Mr. Peleg's lantern? Looks like people have been digging up the ground and searching around for stuff. What's this, a bone? It is a bone. Oh, okay. There's a spider in it. Weird, okay. Decided to go look for Peleg Walker's grave. It was off the beaten path across the street on another road, but we had to come and find him, and here he is. Thanks for watching Goblin Paranormal. We'll be back here soon to do an investigation. Hopefully Mr. Walker will make his presence known to us, either through hearing his creaking of his lantern or seeing his apparition itself. By the way, if you want to come here in the morning, you may be able to hear Mr. Walker ring the bell to gesture you to start your day at work here. We'll see you soon. You may be able to hear Mr. Walker ringing the bell to gesture you right to the mill so you can start your day at the work. That was stupid. Thanks for walking. You're gonna have to take out the keys of the mill out of a dead man's pocket. Oh, fuck.